Hi guys, it's Shobi Leon. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever time you are watching this. Sorry I've been away for a while, but I'm back now. I've had a lovely time off, celebrating my birthday and sort of like doing a lot of other things which, I thoroughly enjoy doing. And what I have been doing is a lot of personal development. I've been, I bought myself over my birthday. I got some amazing books, so I got stuck in and was really just enjoying myself. And so today, the topic of my video today is about your well-being, our well-being. This is something that sort of I've learned, and of course, this is what I do. I love to share whatever I've learned with you guys. Is that our well-being, not just about with what you're doing with whether you're in work or whether you're running a business, that, our well-being plays an important part, basically, and has an impact on the quality of our life, our performance at work, or even in business. That is something that I have come to learn and actually sort of like observed even in my own life, looking back at my journey and a lot of things that are happening currently in my life. So, what is well-being to you? Is that something that you've ever thought about? I mean, we get so busy and caught up with life, with just, like waking up, right, getting yourself ready, getting yourself to work, getting your kids to school, whatever it is that you do. We just get caught up in a lot of things. And I guess this is something that we sort of like take for granted or don't even sort of like take stock of. So, what is your how's your well-being? What is your definition of well-being? Well, I understand well-being, or my definition would be, a state of contentment with life and the way things are going for you. So, how are things going for you? What is well-being? Is it about being physically healthy? Is it about feeling in control of your emotions and your stress levels? Is it about you being able to connect with others and having meaningful relationships? What is, well, you know what? It's actually all that and more, your well-being. So when you fully understand the factors or determinants of what well-being is, and knowing what specific practices that of trying to have better well-being, you can then make things better for yourself, and also the people around you. So having lack of well-being or being in a state of lack in your well-being can also do a lot of damage to you, to your health, to your relationships, and even your performance in work or in business. So now, I guess, including myself before, most people would probably put down their state of their well-being due to several factors that are out of control. Like the place you work, the people around you, and all those kind of things. But, if you really look deeply into it, you'll actually find that it's actually all within, so much so in your hands, to actually take stock of your own well-being. So, however, achieving well-being is, by no means simple. It's anything but simple. Because for most people, including myself, or even someone or even yourself, it's all about feeling not, I mean, it's about like, even if you can sense of lack of well-being, that you don't feel good, because you know what? Because it doesn't feel good when there's a lack in your own well-being. So this is something I've been reading, and this is something I've been also researching with the way things are, with my journey, is that, I've been looking into it, and, research has identified that there are 6 critical dimensions to well-being. And, and I've actually listed them here. I don't know if you can see this wheel very clearly, but it sort of states it here. You've got health, relationships, security, purpose, community, and environment. So if you were thriving in all of these 6 dimensions, then you're definitely flourishing in life. But if you're struggling in any one of these, then just struggling in any one of these, and most of us are, even myself. I know that there are things that I could definitely improve on. And these are things that sort of like been on my mind a lot in the last few months, because, there are certain things I've been wanting to change. And it's funny, I feel that, when you do ask a lot of questions within yourself, you sort of get aligned to, things, and the answers sort of come to you. And so it sort of like came to me when I was looking for these answers. So if you are lacking in one of these, then you can totally throw your life out of balance. And and I think if you know I can delve into this a lot more, but this would mean that the video will go on for 20-30 minutes, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So I'm just sort of like going to scheme through the six dimensions about it, and mention a few factors and see if it's something that you can look into, and whether these factors are things that you've got total control of, or you think you could sort of maybe improve on to make things better for you, basically. So the first one is health. And including myself, like most people, we tend to take our health for granted as part of just being alive, really. So when these expectations aren't met, and we suffer from poor health, so does our well-being. It's natural. So we can be physically healthy, but mentally as well, there's two different aspects to your health. Is that if we're lonely, or we feel stress, then our well-being doesn't feel good either. We don't feel great either. So what does it take to be healthy? I guess the first thing is to acknowledge that much of your health is actually in your own control. How you live your life, the foods you eat, the exercise you get or you don't get, or how you manage your stress, how much sleep you get. So simple things, really. Learn how to, I guess, choose, or, there's simple ways of getting going about this. It's like learning how to choose, or even learn how to cook more nutritious food. Find activities that you actually enjoy doing. There is no one route to health. There's no one route, oh, you've got to do this certain kind of exercise. Find something that you enjoy doing, because at the end of the day, this is about you. It's about just getting some activity. I mean, even walking, making sure you get a walk a day, that is definitely, a good step in the right direction. Most of us, when we grow up, there is something that we normally thoroughly enjoy doing. So, maybe look at doing that again, and it's also just about being mindful of, creating healthier habits, and all this, to be honest, is all within, our capabilities to achieve. So, when we talk about managing stress and things like that, it's, I'll go into it further. There's just so much to, there's so much I've learned, and there's so much I want to share, but I'll do this briefly. And if you guys want to hear more, then, try and contact me within our groups, and we can talk more. So the second one was relationships. So relationships, now, being isolated, or not being in a sort of like a supportive group can also be detrimental, sometimes even fatal. Loneliness, can cause many complications. And I think, like most of sometimes if you've been asking a lot of questions yourself, if you've not been happy at work, if you've not been happy in the business you're doing, or whatever it is you're currently doing, and you're not seeing results, you sort of tend to get into this isolated sort of like state, or even feel lonely, because I'll explain further how it's so easy to feel like you're not being part of one of the crowd, of where everybody's life seems to be so perfect. These kind of complications can lead to a lot of things to your health. You can lead to depression, obesity, high blood pressure, fatigue in cancer patients, and it's basically just having a less joyful experience of life. So, and research has also shown that people who have very strong supportive relationships around them, instead it actually sort of like negates and it sort of negates all the bad side effects of stress, and basically just having a more satisfied life. If you're in an environment and having relationships where people are supportive of you, and knowing who you truly are. So what I would suggest to you as far as relationship goes is to seek out relationships that are mutually has a positive influence in your life. And then when you found those kind of relationships, tend them with a lot of gratitude, love, compassion, forgiveness, because these kind of relationships are very hard to come by. And as you go through life, and as you tend to grow, also realize that your friendships will change, and that is absolutely normal. Don't feel bad about certain things, because at the end of the day, your well-being is very important to you having a contented life. So now the next one, briefly, I'm trying to make sure that this video doesn't go on for too long. It's already gone on for 10 minutes. Is security. Now, there's sort of like three aspects to security. We've got safety, fear, and financial. So yes, so those are sort of like, I think you can identify with that, is that, there's three aspects to you feeling secure in, as in your well-being. So safety could be certain things like, even like our own poor choices in our life, and picking places of where we live, where we work, and all those kind of things can also, increase our risk of harm and all sorts of things like that. So if you can sort of like try and create environments which are safe to you, people who, especially like with fear, people who live in constant fear, basically can become incapacitated. They can feel helpless. It can cause them a lot of stress. I mean, I'll tell you exactly, like for myself lately, I live very close to the city of London, and sort of like, living in a city, so, you do get, I hear too much news these days about, all sorts of atrocities going on. And I've got two young kids, so I sort of like tend to like think, oh my God, I can't even walk down the street and, not having to, look behind my back. So it's about those kind of things. But you know what? It is also within my control where I go, where I live, and where I take my kids out. So that is something I'm definitely working on. And then you got financial, lack of money, because it's important that everyone, as as a human being, that they have the ability and they have the finances to cover their basic human needs, being able to pay for your rent, your food, and all those kind of things. So having lack of it, sort of like can affect your well-being. So basically having more money, which means you would have more choices. So, a lot of people, including myself before, we used to have this very, unhealthy, if you look into it, we sort of like have this very unhealthy relationship with money. And, when we get caught up in the pursuit of money, so that we can keep up with our neighbors, the Joneses, or even the perfect lives that our friends on Facebook display, it can increase your stress, which can increase your isolation and eventually lead to depression. So, start to look at what you are exposing yourself to, so, take things with a pinch of salt. Think of, what you're going to, allow into your life. Now, the fourth one, I'm going to try and go quickly, is purpose. What is your reason for getting up every morning? This is one of the main things. I think a lot of people hate that whole thought of like if they're going to work and the alarm going and getting ready, getting kids to school and all those kind of things can seem, after a while repetitive, mundane, and you start to question like, what is this whole meaning of life? So having a clear reason. So having a clear reason and having a clear reason and to engage in life is one of the most fundamental aspects of human needs and a key component of your well-being. So it could be tied up with your career, your work, the business or the path that you choose. For some, it may even lie outside of work, So find work, find something that allows you to express your unique gifts in a way that aligns with your values, and fuels your passion. And, so these are the things that I've started to do now, because I started, on a path where, doing a lot of work on affiliate marketing, just promoting anything that was bringing me income. And then I started to feel like, well, I wasn't feeling that great inside. And then and this is sort of part of the reason why I've now gone down this path of just, focusing on a lot of self-growth, personal development, and my own spiritual growth. And This is why I'm sharing these kind of things with you. So because this fuels me, this makes me happy. So yeah, so find something that allows you to express your own unique gifts, and and it fuels your passion. That's definitely gonna make a big change in your life. So this goes beyond happiness. People who live with purpose tend to have bigger lives, reduce risk of having chronic diseases, obviously less stress, and also it's also been shown to have less prevalence in Alzheimer's. So there you go. It's quite an important thing, having purpose, as in having your purpose and it aligning with you. Fifth one, very briefly, is community. It's quite long. You sort of like, well, it's not quite long. You could go into it, but the community which you live in and work, can have a profound effect on your overall well-being. A community that supports and enhances your well-being is one that sort of like, promotes connectedness, livability, and also equity, So look at the community you live in, because, it could be anything from, if you've got a sort of like a connected community, it's one where it promotes social interaction, social support. It creates an overall sense of trust among all its inhabitants and on where you live. So, like myself, in certain parts, I mean, in the city, it's going to be quite hard. So this is one of the things, and I think I've mentioned it before in some of my previous videos. And people that know me is like, I'm working towards moving out of the city. I want to move up into a country and sort of be more within nature, and sort of like a nice village community where there's a lot more sort of like supporting people, sort of like know each other. So livable, I guess livable being, is it a community where you have easy access to transport, schools, doctors, healthcare, lots of activities for the youth, the children, all those kind of things, And equity is one of a place where does that community support diversity? Is everyone treated fairly and justly? Those kind of things. So yeah, that does play an important part of your well-being too. And the last one is obviously a sort of connected, which is environment. Now, again, 3 parts. I'm really sorry the video's gone on for so. Right, so yes, the video did go on for so long and it sort of like stopped. So I've had to obviously delete some space and continue on another video. So I'm going to have to edit this. So if it seems a little bit funny with my head going, that's because I've had to sort of join 2 videos and I wasn't going to redo the whole thing again. So guys, apologize. But you know what? I'm excited to share this because I think, it may not be for everyone, but what I'm sharing you today might put some thoughts into your head and it might help somebody, because this is something I think that is important, that, your well-being does come first before, anything else, before your work, your business, and everything else. So it is very important that you make sure that you try and have the best state of your well-being, to then have the best kind of life you can have. So the last one I was going to talk about was environment. Basically, it's around your built environment, around your work, your home, the natural world out there, and and your contribution basically towards the overall health of the planet. So what are you doing, towards that? So places that you spend most of your time in can promote or detract from your well-being. I think you can pretty much say that. So it can go for anything from like, is it a safe and secure area? Is your house safe and secure? Is it designed to your needs? Or same thing with your work, is where you're working, is it designed to your needs? What about the lighting? What about the clutter in your house? Have you got things in your house that you don't need anymore? Baggage that you don't need to have anymore. Just think about things that are, anything that's going to remind you of anything negative, get rid of it. These are things that I've had to go through. I was in a relationship before, came out of it. So, it takes a process. Obviously, I didn't expect you to like just go crazy one day and try and get everything out. Go through things, work through it methodically, and just make it the best sort of environment you can. So, so if you can, just make it the best environment you can. Get rid of things that no longer serve you, in your house and in your environment. Even doing certain things like bringing nature's really good. There's a amazing nature has this amazing healing power over all of us. We are all connected, by the way. So whether we like it or not, we are all connected. So nature is a great way of healing ourselves. So if you can't always be out there, do things like bringing in plants into your home. Just make sure you water them, and just to create an environment of peace, or like they say, Zen, because, if you live in a place where it's constant clutter, your mind can't think clearly either. So yeah, just, do anything that you can, put in paintings of nature or animals or things that really sort of like bring you out of it, of just your four walls. And I guess the best remedy for this is really just to escape it all. Just, get out there, get out into nature, go out there. I mean, I tend to do this a lot. I love taking myself, my kids out into nature. We have lovely holidays out, in the woods and the cabins, and just like coming out at night and just seeing the stars in the sky, all those kind of things. Do those kind of things, because nature has an amazing way of resetting that button in you, So do those kind of things. I guess that pretty much sort of like covers it all. I can go deeply into a lot of this, but I think I've gone way over the time limit of having a video on Facebook. But guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this and have found some value in what I've shared with you today. And I hope that you guys are, going to have an amazing holiday season and an amazing Christmas, and look forward to an amazing 2020. Take care, and bye-bye for now.